Hi. I'm not smiling very large today because I was planning on a really fun video. I've been laying out all the ones I wanted to give this year, and that was going to be the one I was going to enjoy the most because I talk about my crocheting. But I just went to find out if anybody had died yet because of the Iran war, the Iran strike, the Epstein strike, as they're calling it. I don't even know how to explain this to you, but I feel I have to make this video because this is really serious. I was going to talk about the seriousness of needing air and water and everything else that our earth offers us, but this is worse. People dying, people I so admire, those who've gone into the military. That's why I wanted to be a JAG lawyer. I wanted to defend them because I don't think anybody who hasn't been in war has any idea what it does to people. I've just seen the aftermath. I've just seen my father rage and beat the living crap out of me with a fly swatter that had lost. They used to make them out of steel, and it didn't have the cloth on it anymore. And it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It had nothing to do with me. I was only 7 years old, and we just moved again. We moved 7 times in 9 months. It wasn't about me. It was about the rage he felt from being in the war in Korea and seeing so many people die. And when I went on YouTube a few minutes ago and I saw how many had been killed already, and when I think about how many more, I felt like I had that bracelet on again, that POW bracelet. I just felt like my whole body was tingling with an emotion I can't even understand. And I just felt like I wanted to lose my lunch. There's no way I can possibly express how much grief I feel. For 10 years, we watched 18, 19, 20-year-olds just being killed. My uncle came back. My uncle went to Vietnam and came back with PTSD so badly he could hardly work anymore. And he jumped on a plane because he was a supervisor of a man who had a cold, and you're not supposed to fly when you have a cold. And so he jumped on the plane and was showing it to some Koreans who were going to buy the plane. As he turned, the right wing fell off at 500 feet. He was gone in a heartbeat. It was an accident. It was nothing more than an accident. Now, the fact that my father and he had discussed the fact that 14 bombs had been retrofitted onto the plane that wasn't designed to hold, it is true. It was an expected accident, but that's not what I'm talking about. To just go over to Iran and start throwing bombs around by somebody, the chief, doesn't know anything about war, doesn't know anything about military people. Just could not believe it when I saw how he brought the 800 highly qualified, unbelievably intelligent, wise officers a few months ago, and he and Pete Hayes had talked to them like they were school children who didn't know anything. I was so embarrassed. I was so deeply embarrassed. I lived on base for years, through my whole childhood. I heard the stories. I felt the pain. I saw the results, not just in my own father, but I can't express the numbness that my body feels, but I have to talk to you. I have to tell you what's going to happen. Our young are going to die needlessly. Thousands. My husband tells me there's 5,000 people, military people, on each of the 2 ships that are right there in Iran right now. 5,000 on each ship. And they have the capability, Iran has the capability of blowing them up. 10,000 people gone for no reason. And $4 or $5 billion worth of shipbuilding gone for no reason. Other than the present administration is trying to cover up this Epstein files so people can not know for sure exactly which girls were sexually abused. Those girls know. They know real well. I know all about that. I know about that pain and embarrassment, ignoring words, ignoring life. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I said to my student, I have a young student, a 17-year-old boy who's so smart. When he came on today, I said, hey, you know about the war in Iran? He said, yep, the Epstein war. Nothing gets past these kids today. They know everything. And they know if their brother or their uncle or their grandfather or dad is gone, he's probably going to be gone forever. How can this be? How can anyone just sit by and let this happen? Let a sociopath, a psychopath, and a narcissist continue to take food away from people in Africa, healthcare away from people all over the United States, educational possibilities, respect for military, respect for professionals, just firing people right and left. We saw him do it online. We saw him do it in his show. You're fired. All the time. Good people who served. I've always felt so proud, so incredibly proud of my father serving in World War II and serving in Korea. My uncle serving in Vietnam. My son serving in peacetime. And I wanted to serve. I have this enormous sense of numbness because I feel like another 10 years is coming my way. Another 10 years of begging and begging and begging people to please stop killing our young people. I was titling this particular video, this is serious, to talk about climate change, to talk about ignoring taking care of the earth, to talk about ignoring taking care of each other, to talk about the need for us to understand and learn from the indigenous people how to treat each other, to talk about anything but death in 2026. I thought it would be a little bit further out. Of course, we always hope that death is a little further out, even if it's our aunt or our uncle or anybody. We always want to push death out, unless we're the present administration of the United States of America. Then we just want to blast them. Just put them aside. Anything to keep people distracted from bad behavior. Insensitivity to minors, young girls, 13. I wonder what they did to the 9-year-olds that we heard about. What in the world did they do to the 9-year-olds? And why? Why did so many people vote for a liar? We knew his first term, was it 3,000 some odd lies that they were able to definitively find? It's so painful. And yet, you know, I'm an idealist. People think it's weird that I put so much value on honesty. I didn't pass. Well, I passed, but I didn't get an A. The A that I earned, I wasn't given on my report card in business college because the professor said, yes, you did. You did, in fact, earn an A on all of your papers, but you're not a marketing major, and I'm not going to give you an A. And that's the way it is. It's the way it's always been since I've taught this course. I don't care what you earn. You don't get it unless you're a marketing major. I couldn't do it. Marketing is hedging. They don't want to call it lies. They call it the gray area. Well, to me, it's a lie. If it's not truth, it's a lie. I mean, there's some things that have gray areas, but that's not one of them. In my book, you either tell the truth about something. Will this last? Like the Maytag wringer washer that I used that was on its third owner? I mean, really, I bought what looked like a really nice refrigerator, and I'm happy with it because it's an energy saver, but it's tall and it's skinny. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It has really compact areas in it. And the seal, the rubber seal, gave out in less than 6 months. So I have a bungee cord tying the handle to a hook in the back of the refrigerator on the wall so that I can keep the door closed. Because I can't replace a seal. I live in Ecuador. How am I supposed to get a seal? They don't sell parts as parts, but they don't like it. There's so many tariffs and things. I mean, this is a developing country. They'd rather you buy another refrigerator. And so would the store. I won't. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to agree with what's happening now. I just wonder, when the 2 ships are gone, 10,000 are gone. When, many other buildings are gone. I mean, this is Sunday by a week. Within a week, there could be 20,000 deaths. How many is it going to take before somebody stops and says, we've got to look at this situation clearly. We've got to get rid of this administration. We've got to pay attention to giving the U.S. what it wants. The bottom half of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's all. That's all. They're not asking for the world. No. The people of the U.S. want affordable housing, affordable food, clean air, clean water, and health care. Most countries offer that. All the ones that are large offer that. Ecuador offers that. We pay $99.21 a month for 2 people, not one, 85 and 79. $99.21 a month for government health insurance. That means I can go to a doctor, have my hip replaced. My husband had heart surgery. It was $13.90. I get to ride in the ambulance with him, with a medical doctor and 2 other people. This little country of Ecuador can do it. Why can't the United States do it? Because they're throwing money away to hide the Epstein files. There's no logic here. I feel like I need to get everybody that's, I said they should make a test that everybody has to take who becomes an administrator in any office that's the same as immigrants have to take. Well, I think they should also make them watch the series called Bones, at least one, and see what logic means. I mean, that actress really does a good job explaining what logic means. And there is absolutely no logic in giving up the lives of thousands of American military to hide one man's poor behavior, horrific behavior, unbelievable behavior, despicable behavior. Is there? Would you think so? Do you think it's okay? Now, I have done some research because the young man who took advantage of me was 18. So I looked it up. I had to find a way to forgive because I believe in that. I believe in forgiveness. I believe in recognizing what's going on and forgiving. I was a completely innocent, naive young girl. I was only just barely 15. I had no idea what was going on. I really didn't. I had no idea. Beep, beep. No idea. Had no idea where babies came from. I knew that was inside the woman. I have no idea how it got there. There's no libraries, and back then there was no internet. There was nobody to ask. I never had an aunt or uncle or cousin or relative around me, and my mother sure wasn't there to tell me anything. So I looked it up. 18 to 24, there is an unbelievable level of testosterone in young men. It's just over the charts. It's off the charts. It's unbelievable. So I said, okay, he was 18. But Epstein and Trump were not buddies at age 18 or age 24. And the girls were not 3 years younger. My understanding is that they were well into their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, somewhere in there. And the girls were between 9 and 18. Mostly from economically marginalized homes, looking for an opportunity to have a job, looking for an opportunity to see the world, to be treated with some respect, to learn something. So what's the first thing he does when he takes office? He starts screwing with the education system so we can all be dummies. And then he keeps threatening Social Security so that older and older and older people will continue to be in the workforce for less and less money and work part-time so they can be paid the absolute least possible. And no health service, so they'll die real quick. What has happened? What's happened to the world I was raised in? What's happened to the fact that I remember once my mother's handbag was stolen because she had left the front door open, unlocked, and her purse was hanging right straight in line with the front door. And she had walked down to the corner to get me from school where the bus was going to drop me off. People didn't lock their doors. People didn't think about it back then. It wasn't a problem. But somebody did do it. Boy, was she mad. She wanted bars on all the windows and doors and everything after that because she didn't feel safe. But we used to feel safe. Most houses in the 1940s on farms, they didn't have locks. Well, why would they have locks? I mean, it wasn't done. That's what people used to say. It wasn't done. I never went to town in the South without a hat and white gloves. I was always dressed in a dress. A dress. Oh, I hated dresses. I was dressed. I was a tomboy. I was dressed in a dress, and I had white gloves on with a hat. Almost always a hat. because that's how it was done. And I just don't understand the changes that have occurred, the misconceptions, the lack of decency, the lack of caring for each other, the lack of barn raising. We did a barn raising in Mexico. It wasn't a barn, it was actually putting a new roof on a house that my husband had built for a couple who lost theirs to a fire. But we asked all the neighbors to come in and help put the roof on, and it felt so good. It was in 2008. It was, I think it was June or July of 2008. And all these people came out, and all these children came out, and it was fun. We really enjoyed it. And a family of 6, had a new house. It was really special. What happened to that? What happened to feeling that way? I feel like I could faint right now. I'm horrified. I'm absolutely horrified at what's happening. I'm afraid to go in and look. When the body bags start being collected, are they going to bring them home? Are they going to dump them in the ocean? Affordability. Where's the affordability in having another war when 35% or 10%, even 1% of the people in the U.S. are homeless? What's possible affordability? Can't be. It just can't be. If by any reason you have a question for me, reach down to comments. While you're down there, you might take a look at our website. For 34 years, it's been about helping people. There's just so much joy in helping people, and so much sadness in losing them. And we also have art that we've created to remind you about taking care of the earth. But today, the concerns are much more prevalent in my face, in your face, in all of our faces, as we lose loved ones. Thank you.